All right, welcome back to the shop. All right, we're left off last time. Finished mounting up the back half of the plane. Now today we're going to look to set the fin on. So all the fit up is pretty good so far, and now we're going to put on the back fin here. So we're looking to set that up. And we do something a little different on this one. One of the air outlets is going to be all the way in the back here. So if you see, it'll be here, and we're going to have some ribs in here to kind of allow it to the air to come through and look pretty cool in the back. But if you look, it's fit up pretty good. So we're pretty close. All right. So now what I get is a piece of 1/8 that's been cut to the width. And I'll go right in each width one. And I'll space them about 1/4 inch out. So what I'll do first is get it in. I'll glue each one in. And then I'll cut the angle on it. And then I'll do is get the rudder fin set up. And I'm going to mark it and I'll sand the contouring. Because these will be, they'll have a little bit of roundness to them. So. Let me just find a piece of 1/4 inch here. Okay. So I got a piece of 1/4 inch. Let me just make it. Yeah. So I'll have them go in about 1/8 of an inch each. The other thing I do want to do a little bit is kind of just relieve these out a little bit. Let me do that now. Alright, I gotta. You can see in the back, it's kind of what it looks like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hollow a little bit of this out just to give it a little bit better look and take some material off. So I'll do my Dremel with a 1/4 inch sanding drum right down the middle. Okay. Alright, so let's see. They need to be about 1 inch long. So if they're about 1 inch long, we're in good position. So what I'll do is I'll mark these and cut them up at 1 inch each. Okay. Alright, so we'll just cut them. Alright, so I got a 1 inch spacer here. I'm going to just use that as a kind of a guide. Like that. Let me just look at that. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to stick it in about 1/8 of an inch into it a little bit. And then what I'll do is just tack it in. Alright, second one. Should have probably measured this up a little bit just to make sure that we don't end up with an oddball one, but we'll see what happens. Oh. I didn't glue that one in. I'll give it a second. Alright, next one goes in. Alright, I'll cut another one. Alright. And what we'll do is we'll kind of just eyeball this last one. It's pretty close to being just about the same amount distance. We'll cheat this last one a little bit. Yeah, we'll cheat this one a little bit. Split the difference. Pretty good. Just looking at it just to make sure it doesn't look. There we go, pretty close. Let that dry for a second. What we're gonna do is then we're gonna take a ruler and mark it. Let's see. Let that one dry for a second. And what we're going to do is kind of just mark this so we kind of have an idea, and we'll cut it very carefully. All right. You just got to take your time and cut it carefully. Probably cut the first two like this. Yeah. Just make sure the glue is dry on it. Just carefully cut up. Just take your time making these cuts because it's real easy to rip the balsa here. This is pretty light, 1/8 inch balsa. Cut there. If anything, you want to cut it a little proud so you can sand to it. So you just take your time and cut. I'm cutting through it sideways now and just kind of take in. I always want to leave it bigger so I can sand up and finish to it. Now I'll do is take that block and just working it up, stand to it. Alright. Now we're going to put the fin on and mark it. But if you look, it's kind of what we have. It should look pretty neat when it's finished up. What I'll do is put the fin on so I can mark it, the center line here. Alright, so what you want to do is just kind of mark it, get it right in the middle, really eyeballing it well. Okay. Actually, this is mark the center line. Now what I want to do is I'm going to sand into it. My block. Alright. So I kind of want it a little bit, I don't want it pointy, but I want to kind of round it a little bit. So I kind of work this in a round motion. Alright, so just going to work it up to the line. I don't know what you can see the lines, but... Okay, one side done, now we're going to work the other side. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. I'm just going to flip the plane over. This is just one of those things you want to get right. So I'm right-handed, so it's just a little bit easier for me to do it this way. You're just being careful because these are not, I mean, they're glued in, but they're only really tacked in until I attach the fin to it. Once I attach the fin to it, it'll be much more secure. Alright, not bad. Pretty close. Getting there. Just sneak up on it. You can make it round here, and then what you do is you just take it and put the flat back in it. Alright. Alright, pretty good. Flip it back over. And now, we should be ready to put the fin on. Oh boy, I need a bigger shot. Or at least one with a 12-foot ceiling. Alright, pretty happy with that. I'm going to take a little bit off here to get the bottom to touch in. Okay. So we're going to take a little bit of angle off here. That looks pretty good. You can see it. I don't know how you can see it, but that's pretty good. So finishing there is going to be interesting. Yeah, so getting in between here and finishing is going to be a little challenging, but overall I think this is going to look really nice. And it's a little functional, which is even better. Okay. All right, pretty close. All right, now I got a set of triangles that I use, that I made to kind of help me with getting 90 off of it, as a good reference and guide. Alright, so I got 2 triangles that I made, 1/8 really hard balsa, and I kind of use these as a guide. What I'll do is I'll tape them to the stab and kind of get this lined up. Alright, so we need some tape, a fin, alright, what I'll do is get it close by eye. Okay, that's pretty close. Alright, I'm going to tack glue it in place. Just going to put a tack up in the front, which is looking at it. Alright, just a couple tacks. I'll use my 90 here to hold it up. Alright, so it's just tacked in place. Let me just put another tack up here. So you get it tacked in place and kind of get a good look on it. Look at it, make sure you're happy with it. Make sure it doesn't look like it's leaning one way or the other. And again, I use that 90 kind of as a good reference to be able to sight down it. Make sure it's in the middle, get a good look at it. And if anything, you want it to be, you ever want it to be angled in a little bit, anything angled out a little bit. I mean, I always set mine at dead 0, 0, 0. That's why I prefer them. So I'm pretty happy with the fit up here. I do gotta do some, just another tack. Okay. All right. So just want to look at it from the back. Very good. All right, so I'm going to tack a couple of these. We'll tack at least one of these in. Alright, that's the rudder fin it's on. You get a look at it, we got air outlets I'm using it for. I'll finish sanding this flushed in. So I do gotta cut the back half. And you know what, we'll mark that now. Alright, so I do is I take a ruler as a straight edge. I like mine to go straight out the back. So I'll take a straight edge and kind of just mark it like that. And that's what we'll cut off on the bottom. Alright, so we'll take a good look at it, and then we'll take the fin off, we'll make the cut, sand it in, blend it in. But before I glue it on fully, let me just take a good look at it. Good. Alright, we're just gonna start to glue it in place. Just get a good look at it. Like the rudder shape, placement. Alright. Just look over it again. Oh, pretty close, pretty close. There's my glue. Alright, so we'll just glue the rest of them in. Just gonna run a good glue seam in here now. What's really nice about being a take apart is they can take this off and really work those edges in. Sometimes this is just on a one-piece plane, it's pretty hard to get in there and get it really clean. Alright. So I'm running a good glue seam in. Alright. Just really taking a look and making sure I'm absolutely happy with it. Yes. Okay, it's slightly out, which is fine. Probably maybe a 30-second towards the outboard side, which is good. So if you get a good look at it down there, it lines up pretty much. It's 90 degrees from the stab, from the flat stab. All right, so far so good. All right, pretty happy with this. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it off, and we're gonna cut the bottom, and then shape it in. So yep, I have two. Off camera, I put the mounts in, and I'll show you. I used carbon tube. You can use aluminum or brass tube. I went with carbon tube, which really just try to keep the weight down as much as possible. Alright, let me just make sure this is loose. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, let's go. Let's see, I can't. Oh, man. Oh boy. Hope I didn't glue it together. I don't think so, because I didn't drop a lot of glue in there. Alright, let me... Of course, the thing comes off and on and off every time, but now the camera's running. Can't get it, make it work, but let's get through here. give it a second here. Alright, the bottom is definitely loose. Alright, let me just see if I can see in there. Can't seem to get the head on. I don't know why. There we go. All right. All right, so looks like I glued it together. So let's just find out where I got stuck. All right, that side is loose. That side's loose. So I must have dripped some glue in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. All right, that side is loose. All right, so we're good there. And may have, some glue may have run between the seam here. So just carefully work it. Oh, there we go. All right, we're almost through here. Yeah, at the way bottom, I had some glue run in. And stick this together, so just carefully get it poured. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we have to clean up the bottom a little. Alright, easy enough. Had some CA run from here all the way down to the front, and kind of you can see where it's stuck on. So we got to clean that up a little. And I got to make a little clearance in this shaft. But if you look, that's the final piece. There it is. If you look inside, there's a carbon tube that goes to the front bolt, and on the bottom, there's a plate, and underneath it is another carbon tube that goes right in. So yeah, just got to clean up the bottom a little. So without doubt, you always glue one together. But let's finish this up. I'll show you the fin when it's a little 100%. Alright, so what we want to do is I have my line marked. I want to cut and leave some so I can sand in the rest. So what I do is about 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch, proud of the line. Just take my time and saw through. Alright, my block, I'm going to kind of just work this in now. And this is one of the nice things about a take apart, is you're able to work on these parts in your hand. Okay, just gonna keep working it in. You just work it right in now. Now I got the height pretty close. Now I'm going to shape it in. And there you go. And you work it right into the bottom. And if you look now, I got openings in the back. Air going to go through it. And a good air outlet. The spacing is pretty even. Looks pretty good, about 1/4 inch. And what I'll do is I'll carefully work these in. Just work it in. Using the block and letting the paper fall on the other side. Just trying not to dig into the flat side piece. Just work it in. Now we'll just work the sides in here. Okay, that's us. All right, now the fin is on. I mean, really up next is kind of, I just got to clean up where I glued it to it. Got to clean up the edges here, and here, so the stab looks like it fits in better. And then I just got to make the elevators and flaps, and then it's really on to finishing stuff. My plan with this one on the finishing front is I'm going to shoot a 1 coat of primer on it and then sand the entire plane out. That's for 2 reasons. One, to ensure that I get all the surfaces sanded, because this is epoxy resin with fiberglass, and if you miss a spot you will have a pull-up because you want to build some tooth in there. That's one. And the second part is finding any of the low spots. You know, so I'll shoot it with one coat, and you know, we'll be good after that. We'll sand out all the low spots, and maybe even be ready for color right at that point. Probably not. Probably need a 2nd coat and then sand out. What's really important is that to keep the weight down is you have to sand it off. So whatever you put on, you ensure you get all of it off. You'll gain minimal weight and fill in the low spots. Alright, so hope you enjoyed watching. That's all I got for today. Next up will be flaps and elevators, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to be tapering both. I'll show you the jigs I made and how I made them. And thanks for watching.